To learn about working with JSPsych, we're going to be focusing on a very simplified lexical decision task. And to visualize what we're aiming for, I have a screenshot of what the final experiment's going to look like. So let's enlarge this and take a look. It's going to start with a welcome screen that welcomes the participant and gives them instructions. They're told that they're going to see a series of characters, and if the characters they see make up a word, press the F key. If the characters do not make up a word, press the J key, and then they'll press space to begin the experiment. Then on the next screen, they'll see those series of characters, which will either be a valid word, such as pin, or a pseudo or invalid word, such as JGB. And they will respond according to the instructions. So in the case of pin, they would press, hopefully, F. And in the case of JGB, they would press the J key. And they would repeat this process for as many trials as we specify. And then finally, they will see a debrief screen that thanks them for their participation and lets them know that they can close the tab. So that's our very bare bones starting point. Of course, we can expand upon this by having interval screens with the fixation character. We could include reminder instructions for each of the trials. There's lots of different things we can add with this, but we're just going to start off with this basic example. All right, so to set this up, we first want to create a lexical decision folder within our projects subdirectory. So let me switch over to VS Code and set that up. Within here, we're going to have two files. We're going to, of course, have our index.html file. And I've got some starting code for this. I'm going to pull from the notes. And then we're also going to have a JavaScript file. Now, most of our JavaScript files, we've been calling them app.js. I'm going to be a little bit more specific here. I'm going to call this experiment.js. And I'm doing this because, one, to just show that your JavaScript file doesn't always have to be called app. And also, ultimately, we're going to have another JavaScript file we're going to be using here. And so just to make it very clear, what is the role of this file? Well, it's basically to define the structure of our experiment. So I'm calling it experiment.js. And then there is also some starter code we can grab from the notes, and we'll just put that in there. And with that starting code in place, let me make sure that my local server is running. It is on port 3000. And let's go pull this up in the browser. So this is going to be projects, lexical decision. And to begin with, this is exactly what we want to see, just a blank white screen. And most importantly, if we bring up our web inspector console, we just want to make sure that we don't have any errors. Because the code I just provided you makes the initial connection to the jsPsych library. And so if we don't see any errors here, the page loads, even though it's blank, that is evidence to us that it was able to successfully connect that library. All right, now that we see that, let's jump back to the code and understand how that connection to the library is made. So I'm going to go to the index.html file, and here we can see the script tag that's pulling in our experiment.js file that we created. But before that, there's two additional script tags that are actually pulling in the jsPsych library. So this first one pulls in the core of the library, and then this second one is going to pull in the first plugin we're going to be working with. So the way that this library is set up, there's like the core library, which you always need, and then for each of the plugins you want to use, you're going to pull in the code specific to that plugin. And the idea with this is, there's 30 different plugins with the jsPsych library. There's no sense in loading all of them as one big bundle if you only plan on using a handful of them. So you basically can pick and choose which plugins you're going to import, and that's just going to help with things like your page load speed. The less files you have to import, the quicker your page is going to load. Now, where we're getting the library files is not local to our project. These weren't files that we downloaded or set it up like the experiment.js file. Instead, this is coming from a remote site called unpackage.com or unpkg.com. This is a CDN or content delivery network. And a CDN is basically just a web service that has external libraries that you can import directly from their website. And one of the primary benefits of a CDN is just convenience. We didn't have to worry about downloading this library, making sure it was locally available within our project. We could just simply reference it from this outside source. And this is perfectly fine because we're not going to need to edit the code within the jsPsych library. We don't need to have access to it locally to make changes to it. We're simply going to be utilizing it. So pulling it from this external source is going to be perfectly fine. And there are other reasons and advantages for using CDNs that are really beyond the scope of what we need to focus on for right now. So long story short, any external tools we're using, we're just going to pull them in from this outside resource. And then our customized JavaScript that we're going to be writing that's going to be using the libraries is going to be stored in a local file with our project. Beyond our external JavaScript files, there's also a CSS file that we're importing using the link element. We've talked a little bit about CSS this semester. Remember, it's the styling component of web pages. And this particular style sheet is just a default set of styles for the jsPsych library. And this will provide us with some baseline style settings, things like the font styles and sizes that are being used, the colors of elements on the page. Eventually, we'll learn how to overwrite some of these default styles as needed to customize our experiments. But this is just a good place to start with when it comes to styles. And with that, those are the 4 basic ingredients we need to start off with. The jsPsych library itself, a reference to the plugins we're going to be using, starting with the HTML keyboard response plugin, our JavaScript file that's going to be actually interfacing with the jsPsych library, and then finally some CSS styles. Now, a quick word about order of operations here. Typically with your script includes, you always want to start with external libraries, include them first, then include your JavaScript file, because if we were to switch the order of this, within our code, because we're going to try to reference things within the jsPsych library, this would actually create an error because we would be referencing things that haven't been loaded yet. So always start with external code libraries first in your imports, and then import your code that uses those libraries. The CSS doesn't matter. Technically, I could have put this before the scripts, after the scripts. It's pretty independent from the JavaScript itself. So now that we understand the structure of our HTML page, let's switch over to our JavaScript file. And the starting code I gave you here is we initialize a variable called jsPsych, and we set it to be this invocation of a function called init jsPsych. And this is how all of your jsPsych experiments are going to begin. The very first thing you do is invoke init jsPsych. And a note that this function is not a function that we have defined in here, but this is going to work because of how we set things up. We included the jsPsych library. That's where this function init jsPsych exists. So the fact that we made that available before our experiment.js file is why we're going to be able to access it. Now, the next thing we want to do after we initialize the jsPsych library is we want to create a timeline. In jsPsych, your entire experiment is built around this idea of a timeline. So to structure our timeline, we're actually going to create an empty array. So let's just call it timeline, initialize it to be an empty array. And then within the timeline, we want to put the different stages of our experiment. So thinking back to our outline, we had the welcome stage. We had the stage where we showed the word or pseudo word. And we did this on repeat for however many words we wanted to work with. And then finally, at the very end, we had the debrief. Now, in the world of jsPsych, each one of these things they refer to as a trial. When we've been talking about experiment design, we've been really thinking of the trials as just this main portion, the main meat of the experiment, so to speak. We wouldn't refer to the welcome screen or the instructions as a trial, but in this context of jsPsych, all of this is a trial. And I recognize that is a little confusing because we're talking about trials in different ways, but I did want to present it here when talking about jsPsych because in the documentation, that's how they refer to it as trials. So I just wanted to make sure you were familiar and comfortable with that. Now, rewinding to our timeline, we've got an array, and basically what we want to do is put in a trial for each of these elements of our experiment within this timeline. The way we create these trials is by invoking the different plugins that jsPsych provides. And jumping back to our HTML, you can see the plugin we're going to be using in this example is the HTML keyboard response plugin. So let's start there. Let's go to the documentation for this plugin. So coming back to the jsPsych website, under plugins, we're going to look for HTML keyboard response. At the top, we see a basic description of what this plugin allows us to do. We're going to be able to display HTML content and record responses generated with the keyboard. So in the case of our welcome screen, the HTML content is just going to be our welcome message. And then the response generated with the keyboard we're going to be listening for is just the space key to actually begin the experiment. Scrolling down, we can see all the parameters that this particular plugin can accept. So parameters we're going to use is going to be the stimulus parameter. This is where we're going to specify the HTML string with our instructions. The choices parameter is where we're going to specify which key we want to be listening for. In our case, that's going to be the space key. And you could skim through here with the other options you could use for this particular plugin. For our case, we're just going to need stimulus and choices to begin with. And so jumping down, I want to go to the very end because there's examples of how we're going to set up this plugin. And looking at this example, what we're going to do is we're just going to create an object where the parameters of the object are going to correspond to the different parameters we could set for this plugin. So for example, here's that stimulus parameter, here's the choices parameter. In this demo, they have a prompt parameter. We're not going to be using that to begin with. And then the other parameter that is global to all plugins is the type parameter. This is where we actually indicate the plugin we're going to be using. So let's use this as our starting point. I'm just going to copy this code, bring it into my experiment.js. Let's come up with a more specific variable name rather than just generic trial. Let's call it welcome trial. They are using a different method of defining their variables here. Instead of the let keyword, they're using the var keyword. These mostly work the same in JavaScript. There are some slight variations that are really beyond the scope of what we care about. So I'm just going to make this consistent with how we've been defining variables and just change that to let. All right, I'll leave the plugin type as JSPsych HTML keyboard response. And again, we have access to that because we're making sure we're importing that plugin. For the stimulus, this is where I want to put the HTML instructions. So let me clear out what they gave us in the example, and let's do like an H1 with our welcome. And following that, we'll have instructions. And because I want to have multiple lines here, I'm going to switch from single quotes to define my string to the backtick characters so I can have a multi-line string. So in a paragraph, I'll put my instructions. And so this is spaced out nicely. I'll put each of these lines in their own paragraph. And the final instruction I need is how to begin the experiment. So we're going to say press space to begin. For choices, we're going to give it an array of keys we want to listen for. So in the example, they were listening for the keys R, G, or B for the colors red, green, or blue. In our case, we're just listening for the space bar in this welcome trial. So we're simply just going to say space. And then prompt is not an option we want to use right now, so I'm just going to get rid of that. And then with all of our parameters set, we're going to then add it to our timeline. So we're just going to say timeline.push welcome trial. And then the very last thing we need to do to test this out so far is at the very end, we're going to say jsPsych.run, and we're going to pass that our timeline that we want to run. All right, so here JSPsych is just referencing this variable we initialized above. So this sets us up with the inner workings of the JSPsych library. And one of the methods available in there is run, and it is expecting a timeline of trials. So that's what we're going to pass it, and let's see what this looks like. And excellent, there are our instructions. And if we press the space bar, it should just proceed to the next item in the timeline, which in our case, there's nothing else. So it should just take us to a white screen. So I just hit the space bar and nothing actually happened. So let me go back and check my code and to see if I wrote everything correctly. Oh, okay. I think I misremembered this. So when we're listening for the space bar, we don't type out space. We literally just put a space there. That's what we're going to be listening for. Let's try that again. All right. So once again, I'm going to hit the space bar and it just goes to a blank screen. So it finishes the welcome trial. It goes on to the next thing. But again, there's nothing else in our timeline to actually go to. So nothing too exciting yet, but that's the start. And just to recap the process, we always start by initializing the JSPsych library. Then we set up an empty timeline array. And then we create different trials for the different screens of our experiment. In this case, we've been using the jsPsych HTML keyword response, which allows us to display some HTML content and listen for a keyword response. Once our trials are set up, we push them to our timeline. And then the final step is to run JSPsych with that particular timeline. So with this basic foundation set up, let's pause here. And then in the next video, we're going to create more trials for our words and pseudo words. And we're going to learn how to do that as part of a loop.